21,000 followers on our Facebook account. And not all of those, of course, are local people, but a lot of them are. And they'll get an email, or an email blast from our people who are registered in our system. But Facebook, social media has been very, very responsive. And we'll put out a blast like, oh my gosh, help, can somebody come foster kittens? We provide everything, the kittens. Formula if they're still nursing, the little bottles, litter box, a bed, everything to try to make it successful for the person who's going to foster. It's not always successful. Sometimes the kittens come in already ill with like pan-luke, which is 99% fatal in kittens, and very responsive, very expensive to treat. And still, when you treat them, it's like 95% cure rate, so it's just not cost effective. I myself had 4 kittens die on me in May. It was devastating. So, but it happens. It's very common. The older they are, the better the chance they are. If they're weaned from their mom, they've got a good chance of survival. And get them in here, get them on wet food, at a foster agency or a foster home, basically, and give them the chance to live. It's basically giving them a chance to live, but it doesn't always work. Kittens are very fragile.
Yeah. So, are they fixed before y'all let somebody foster them?
Well, not when they're that little. When they're fostered, like if they're just baby kittens, someone's taking care of them. And then when they bring them back to the shelter, when they're weaned and ready to eat on their own and their adoptable age, which is usually anywhere between 9 and 12 weeks, and then we keep them here, get big enough to move out into the big world, and before they're adopted, we have them neutered or spayed.
Okay.
Yeah, occasionally we'll let, like this summer when we were just running out of space for kittens, we did have a lot out in foster. We had some here that were still a little on the young side to get neutered or spayed, but they were certainly big enough to go to someone's home and hang out and eat cat food. And so we have a foster to adopt program. So those people still go through the same application process to be able to adopt, but they're just fostering. They don't finalize their application until they bring the kitten back. Kitten gets fixed, and then the kitten goes out.
And they just foster them until they're big enough?
Until they're big enough, yep. Mm-hmm. And bring them back.
And what happens whenever they won't answer their phone because they decide, hey, I think I want to keep them? I mean,
they've already paid for them. They've already paid for them. They just need to come in and finalize the adoption paperwork, which is basically coming in and getting the kitty fixed, and then they finish signing. We do have an instance of people not coming back, which is silly because everything's already paid for. I mean, if they're adopting a kitten, it's $75 to adopt a kitten. That includes all of its shots, all the care we've done for it. It's microchipping and it's neuter or spay surgery. And that's everything. So why they don't bring them back is awful. And then it does happen occasionally. I think we had 2 this morning that didn't bring them back. And hopefully it's just scheduling. They just forgot, Some people were afraid what's happened is the kitten's gotten out, they've lost it, and they're embarrassed, and they don't want to tell us that they lost the cat.
Do y'all take any further action after that? Or
we keep calling. We just keep calling until, because it's all set. I mean, we can't really stick animal control on them. That's not their job.
What more can you do?
Yeah, and we're limited staff. I mean, we can't go out knock kitten police. I wish we could, but we just don't have the manpower to do that, to track people down. I would say, 98% of the people bring their animals back as contracted. But there's just a few that, for whatever reason, and they may have really good reasons. Like I said, they could have, maybe they moved out of the area. Maybe they went through a divorce and just changed their number and they forgot. Maybe they took them to their own vet and had them fixed and moved. And, that can happen too. So, but some people just aren't very responsible. But we do the application process. People fill out an application if they have any other animals in their home. We call the vet to make sure all those animals are up to date on all their shots and that they have been neutered or spayed. Even if they're adopting a cat and they have dogs. And if those dogs aren't neutered or spayed, we don't adopt a cat because we want them to be responsible pet owners. And that's part of the deal. They also, if they don't own their own home, if they rent, we call their landlord and make sure it's okay for them to have that dog.
What if, sorry to interrupt you,
Yeah,
what if it's
sure.
a case where hypothetically, it's a daughter wants a kitten or something, and the parents have German shepherds that they breed.
We say no.
You just say no.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's in that case that is something we've just recently been bringing up in staff meetings, but it's part of our whole ethos. It's what we stand for, is responsible pet ownership. Realize people want purebred animals, but all they should do is come visit the shelter and see all the dogs, the unpurebred dogs that we have here, and that there's so many animals in the world, that animals should not be commodities.
I completely agree. I got
Yeah.
my dog here
Thank you.
back in 2014.
Oh, great. Yeah.
And he's probably just laying in his bed right now.
We're all mutts. I mean, why should our animals be any different, And it just, and I realize, I have people all the time go, oh, call me when you get a golden retriever. I'm like, why would we get a golden retriever? I mean, occasionally, I guess it could happen. It's probably going to be one that's under socialized and they've turned it in because they never trained it, and that person's going to have a tough row to hoe. Do you know the number one biting dog in the country is a golden retriever?
Really?
Yeah.
My boyfriend's parents have one, and her name's Lexi. She's hyper, but she doesn't really.
Generally very good dogs, but if any dog, if he's not socialized, if it's not, if it's abused, it's going to be different. So,
anyway. She has her own room. She's a spoiled.
Oh, I'm sure she. Yeah. Most people who I have, my neighbors back in Michigan had a golden who's the sweetest dog in the world, and it's great. It's just.
She's a horse. To say the least. She likes to jump on people, and she's cuddly, but I don't think she'd ever bite anybody.
Yeah. But people are surprised about things like that. It's just that pit bulls get the
bad
headlines
rap.
Because, well, when they bite people, they usually kill them. So, and that's my office cat. That's Meadow.
I mean, I myself have had a bad experience with pit bulls. I had a black lab whenever I was younger. It passed away from old age whenever I was in middle school, but our neighbor wasn't feeding his pit bulls, and he had one that was running loose, and I had just fed my dog, and the pit bull came over and ended up chewing one of his front legs and his opposite back leg, and I thought that dog was going to kill my dog. We had to call the police, and they had to tase the pit bull, and I think they ended up putting it down.
Probably, yeah.
But
and it's not their fault if they're not socialized, or they're tied up on a chain, and
it is awful.
It's awful.
That dog was an outside dog. Both of them were, but.
Of course they were. Yeah.
My dog now is inside dog. He's always been inside, but.
Well, we'll go so far as if we are a little concerned about what the people we'll go on the it's like Google Earth and go check out the view of their house, where exactly they live. If we can tell, sometimes you can tell if somebody has dogs chained out because there's paths worn in, and so we won't adopt people who do that. We'll only adopt people who are going to keep their dogs inside. And, outside occasionally, fenced in yard. Occasionally you're going to take, of course, you're going to have your dog out occasionally, but we won't adopt if someone's just going to say, oh, no, we'll just chain him in the backyard. I'm like, no, not one of our dogs won't do it.
No. That's sad. My mom would never let us have dogs inside, so growing up, that's why my black lab was outside.
It's a generational thing, too. I mean, that's, and, I think the parents' generation, even people in my generation, would never believe the proliferation of dog and cat stores. I mean, the superstores for everything, and Halloween costumes for your dog and all the crazy stuff. Because, I mean, they were just like, oh, it's a working animal. My mom grew up on a farm. The dog was there to, guard stuff, and the cats were there to kill the rodents. And nobody fed them. They just fended for themselves. So they got table scraps. So
I'm sure there are some people who come in here and adopt, and y'all just don't know that they have unfixed animals.
Oh, I'm sure there's people who, if they realize, that's why we're asking.
I mean, I remember a little bit of the application process. I don't remember everything on it, but I remember y'all called my landlord to make sure I could have
of course.
a dog.
Yeah, so I'll give you guys sample applications, cat dog applications.
Yeah, that would be great. Okay. My next question was, who are your main donors?
We have local foundations are our number one donors, and these are, there's the furniture foundations, the real estate. Who knows what the family has made a lot of money, and they've put their money in foundations and charitable foundations. That's the job of the foundation, is to vet charities that apply for grants and go from there. Currently, we're in a 1v1 matching grant. It's a $50,000 grant, so we're trying to raise $50,000, so we end up having $100,000 altogether to replace medical equipment in our spay and neuter clinic. So we're doing pretty good. I have to run the numbers actually on the 1st to do a report for the foundation, but we should be about halfway there right now, and then we'll have our final push through the end of the year. We've got 2 more months left.
Wow,
So
that's pretty amazing.
Yeah.
Let's see.
And I'll give you an example. I'll give you the sheet on that too. I'll give you the sheet on all our programs.
And this is a nonprofit, or
Yes, 501c3 nonprofit. Yeah.
Okay. And is there a reason why?
Because then we don't have to pay taxes. Yeah,
That's a good reason.
That's the basic thing, and then you can get charitable donations, because we couldn't run as a for-profit business, as adopting a cat for $35 after having spent a couple $100 on it, and then plus food and shelter. It's money losing business to do this.
That's
We're not
true.
a puppy mill. Yeah, puppy mills are for profit. Yeah, no breeding goes on here, unless a dog comes in and gives birth while it's here, or a cat gets dropped off and it's pregnant and gives birth as soon as it's here.
What happens if the dogs get wounded here? Like, say, I'm sure y'all have animals caged, some of them together.
Yeah.
I think my dog was in a kennel with 2 other dogs.
Yeah, in general we do. We match them up. Sometimes it'll take a while to make sure the dogs get together. Occasionally there will be a dog fight. It's just the nature of the thing. Sometimes we'll have cat fights. Sometimes our people will know. Just kidding. That's a joke. Occasionally there are dog fights, and we separate them. But occasionally, somebody can be injured, and injured to the point that they have to be euthanized. Very rare occurrence. Very rare.
And about how often does that happen?
I've heard of it once.
Once, okay.
Yeah. So, in the last year. So.
Okay, and
actually, that dog, I take that back. That dog didn't get euthanized. It was on the road to recover, seemed to be doing better, and it dropped dead. So it was not euthanized. I misspoke on that.
what happens if y'all have animals that come in badly wounded?
In that case, it is a situation like if a dog's being hit by a car, it has its internal bleeding. It's, we would euthanize an animal if it's medically unfeasible to attempt to save its life.
And how often do you inform the community that there are animals in need, like to persuade them to come and help?
Every day. You should follow us on Facebook.
I think I do.
Yeah.
Well, I can't. I deleted my Facebook over the weekend.
Okay. Well, we also have, our website has our campaigns coming up. Like November is Adopt a Senior Animal Month. And so we're going to have a fun little campaign that's kind of funny about adopting senior animals. But they are the hardest to adopt. Everybody wants a puppy. And then you get the animals that are older. The older an animal is, the more medical needs it has, and the more trouble it is. And also people know, we're not going to have it that long. It's going to die because, it's old, right? So we really have a push for adopting senior animals.
But sometimes they're the best ones, they're
they're
halfway potty trained. My dog was hellacious. Excuse my language. Whenever I first got him, but he generally peed outside.
Yeah.
As long as I was at home.
Yeah.
He wasn't a puppy. He's been the same size ever since I got him.
Oh, neat.
But I didn't want a
puppy.
puppy.
Like Meadow, the kind of scrawny looking cat was walking around. She's about 10 and a half, 11 years old, and she just wasn't getting adopted. She'd been here for a year, and it was just killing me because, and I have 4 cats at home, so my husband's like, no, get another cat, you get another husband. So I was like, oh, okay. So she's our office cat now. So we took her out of the kennel and started her out in my office, and then gradually opened up different spaces, and now she rules the place. And she seems to be pretty happy, and it's all good.
Must be nice.
Yeah. So I know she'd rather be in somebody's house, I'm sure, but at least this way she's not stressed in a kennel. She's got the run of the place. She sleeps on everybody's chair, leaves hairballs, and just what she does. It's great.
Do y'all have people fix them on site, or do y'all have to take them?
We have the Foothills Spay and Neuter Clinic. It's right back in here. And we've done, it's on the Fast Facts, we do about 7,000 spay and neuter surgeries a year.
Wow.
So you can do the number. We're open Monday through Thursday doing surgeries. So you can do the numbers on how many we do a day. It's crazy. Yeah, and that's all they do. They do spay and neuters. We have a few extra things, they can get the animals while they're under, they can get their nails done and things like that. But most part, it is an assembly line, spay and neuter. They're very efficient. They're very, very good, highly skilled, fully licensed vets. And do a great job back there.
Y'all still put the little blue tattoo on the belly?
Yeah, got the little blue tattoo.
I didn't know what that was for the longest time.
Yeah,
I hope
that
that
just
goes
shows.
away. I don't know what that is on my dog.
Well, like for instance, we had a situation, I think it was yesterday, a woman brought in a cat and they shaved the kitty down and there's a tattoo. That cat's been fixed. I'm not going to go any further, just shave him. Whoops, okay, you're done. So.
That's good.
Now, I have a question that may or may not be on the list. Earlier before you mentioned that you were understaffed.
Oh, that's just a nonprofit life. I mean, right now we're just hiring a new gal at the front desk. So otherwise I think we are fully staffed. But any nonprofit needs more people. I mean, that's.
And you let volunteers work around?
Well, volunteers walk the dogs. They can help us clean kennels. They go do cat cuddling. Generally, volunteers are not going to be doing things like in the clinic or doing. They might help with filing, but it's rare to have a volunteer that would be into like handling money because that exposes us not in a good place. So it's just the nature of the business. Yes, to any nonprofit, they'd like double the staff they have.
Wow.
Yeah.
And what's the longest a dog has actually been here? Or any animal?
It's probably would be a dog. Well, like I said, Meadow's been here over a year. I could look it up who our current long-term resident is for you. It's probably a dog. But we've had, there's over a year, which is just so sad.
And are there any stories of any specific animals that just stick out to you?
Oh, jeez. Let me think. Good stories. I mean, every day it's so great to see animals go home with a family. I mean, it's just like every day is a good story. What's really sad is when they get returned. People return, like, I got this cat. I thought it would just sit in my lap and purr, and it's running around knocking things off my counters. It's a cat. That's the sad things. Mostly it's all very successful stories. Animals that have been here for a long time, like the long-term residents, and they finally find their home, and they go home and the owners send us pictures of them, going on walks and playing with the kids and going to a park, and that's what we're here for is to help them find homes. And that's why people get upset when we so thoroughly vet them and say, well, it's none of your business if my other cat's not fixed. I'm like, well, I guess it's not, but I'm sorry, you're not going to take home one of our cats if you're not. That's just, it's our mission. So
do y'all offer to fix their animals? Animals?
We have our spay neuter clinic is open to the public.
Oh,
we have people drive down from Boone, from Charlotte, because it's for a male cat to get neutered, it's only $35. I mean, you can't touch that at the vets, and so we're open for business. We're booked out. Cats right now, you can't get an appointment until the middle of November. Wow. Dog neutering, we're pretty open. For some reason, we just had a sudden drop in dog neutering, and I'm not quite sure why. But we're usually booked up, and all of a sudden we got all these empty slots. I'm like, well, that's weird. So, yeah. So just.
And I noticed there was a guinea pig and a rabbit.
Yep, we take exotics. Yeah. So people will just, they get a guinea pig and they think, oh, they're so cute, and they forget they're like a living animal that makes a mess and needs to eat and drink and have social interaction, and it's just not a stuffed animal with a battery, and I think people get animals and don't realize how much work they are, even if it is just a little guinea pig. You still have to clean their cage. It's not really pleasant to clean a cage, just like it's not pleasant to clean a litter box, but you gotta do it,
I've done
and
it.
yeah, so we get a lot of bunnies, a lot of guinea pigs, just probably will always have either a bunny or a guinea pig almost all the time. And as soon as they go out the door, we'll be like, one potato, two potato, another one will come into the door.
You ever get any avian birds?
We call, if we get, we do very rarely we'll get a bird surrender, but we usually call kikis. It's a bird and parrot rescue, and they'll take care of them because they're more equipped for birds. We don't have bird cages. We're really not equipped. We do get chickens and pigs, horses, mostly, and because we're partnered with the county. So we're actually what used to be what they would think of like as the pound, where people would turn in or animal cruelty cases. We take on that from the county now. So one of our gals, she has a small farm, and there's a lot of people in the who have chickens, and so as soon as chickens come in, she's calling her friends or she's taking them home. I've got a dozen eggs from her happy chickens that were not happy chickens. Chickens only lay eggs when they're really happy. So they weren't laying eggs here, and then she took them home and got them into their little chicken coop, and all good. Boop, chicken eggs.
And
Cool.
chickens are, I mean, of course, you could just stick them in a coop and make sure they're fed and all, but
Yeah.
chickens themselves, it can be very rowdy, especially if you got a really young rooster who doesn't know its place.
Yeah, we had two. There were 3 chickens that got turned in. There were 2. Like, do you guys ever know Foghorn Leghorn, the old?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, all right. They were those Leghorn roosters, and they are like this big. They are big chickens. It's like they could take you out with those big gigantic claws. But we had 2 of them and a poor little gal chicken who was exhausted because these guys were like, "Hey, baby," And she made one phone call, and poof, they were off to a happy farm, being happy chickens.
Wow.
So.
I don't know that much about chickens,
Yeah,
but
we have
wow.
potbelly pigs. People get them when they're this big, and they're so cute. And all of a sudden, they have a 150-pound potbelly pig, and it's like, oh, now what do I do with it? Well, it's not.
Yeah, they think they're getting little miniature pigs or something.
But potbelly pigs become very big pigs, and they're very sociable. They're intelligent, and very sociable. But people
I
don't
heard
realize
you
it, and
could
then they
potty
don't know.
train them and
Oh, yeah.
basically
Yeah.
whatever.
But there's people just irresponsible pet owners. But
I'm not a.
they get adopted pretty quickly too. So there's a lot of little farms around here. People I have a neighbor who has one. I live in the city of Hickory. I haven't asked how she can have that because it's fine with me. Pig's just kind of chilling in the yard, being a pig. It's okay. Yeah.
I have a bird myself, but its cage is always open. It stays either in or on top of its cage, and it's potty trained. Don't ask me how I potty trained it, but I can be like, Pebbles, poop, and it'll poop.
Oh, nice.
On command. And it doesn't ever poop on us. Like, we'll walk into the room and it'll poop, and it'll be like, get me. And I'm like, oh, okay.
Wow.
It's the best bird I've ever had.
Nice.
It's hilarious. You have any more questions?
Have you ever had an instance where because you mentioned earlier how when it gets too crowded, you start calling other people.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
In the meantime, is that an immediate response from them, or do you have to kind of like deal with the overflow at the moment?
There are sometimes you deal with the overflow. We have these stand-up kennels in the hallway. They'll, like in kitten season, they'll be full all over the place. But we just have a great community that responds and comes in, because we don't euthanize animals because of space, and that's common in a lot of shelters. It's becoming less common with more community and awareness, and just the fact that that's wrong to have that happen. It's not the animal's fault, So we just have a great response, and we have this shelter and that shelter in Newton, so which is why we don't have like 700-800 animals right here. This is this smaller shelter. That shelter is bigger. I have to look and see exactly how many animals we have here, but probably 250. I would think in here probably. Because cats, you could put a lot of cats in a cat colony.
Yeah.
I'll walk you guys around and show you where things are.
Do you spay the females too?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Unless it's a foster to adopt situation, and that's usually with like a kitten or a puppy, and that's usually only going to be when we've had this, just we're running out of room, and it's like we just need to get these kitties out of here. one thing with cats is if you do have a lot of cats in the area and there's like a upper respiratory, it's not going to kill them, but you can start getting a lot of cats sick. So when we're getting that crowded situation over the summer and kitten season, and we're at the tail end of kitten season now. Now it's getting cold, thank heavens. It's been extended this year just because it stayed so warm. That we just want to get the cats out of here because they have a better chance to stay healthy if they're not in an environment that's, cats on top of cats. No matter how much we clean, boy, they clean, every day it gets cleaned and bleached and everything's, pristine, but, animals they just keep doing what they do in their lives, and, what was the question? Shoot, sorry.
How do you deal with the overflow?
Yeah, the overflow is just like that foster to adopt is, like you want this little kitten, okay, take him home, but you're, pay for him, but you need to agree to bring him back when he hits, 3 pounds. We make an appointment way in advance, just thinking he's probably going to be this big, or we have him come in if they still need shots. We have vaccine clinics usually twice a month. We have them bring them back in. Again, it's at no cost to that person. They just need to bring the kitty back in and get its shots to, give it its best chance at a good, healthy life.
Now, for strays, I'm talking about like no owner,
right?
Like walking along the side of the road.
Mm-hmm.
How do they end up here?
People will. Well, we have what's called a feral cat package, it's with the spay and neuter clinic, and what people will do. We're talking about something. We're trying to get more word out about it. A lot of people know about it. A lot of rescue organizations use it. If you trap a feral cat in a trap, you bring him in here Monday through Thursday morning. You've paid $40 ahead of time, and then that cat gets spayed or neutered. It gets a rabies shot, and it gets an ear tip. Our other office cat has an ear tip. She used to be a feral, and that's a universal signal that this is a feral cat that's not reproducing and it has had a rabies shot. So, because there are people who will just shoot cats, or it'll be like, oh, that cat's causing trouble. It's going to be making more kittens. I don't want more kittens. And I'll say, oh, it's got an ear tip. That means it's not reproducing. It's just living its life, and oh well, let it live its life. So that's really effective. So I've done about 4 or 5. My daughter's done a couple. One of them sleeps with me every night now because he decided he didn't want to be feral anymore. And it took about a year of hanging around our house, and he finally moved in. So he's a great cat. Yeah, I'm always like, sorry about your ear, dude, but hey, didn't know you were gonna move in. So yeah.
What percentage would you say animals come back to the Humane Society?
I mean, once they get adopted out,
yeah,
come back in. I'd say it's pretty low because that's why we get so upset when it does happen, because it doesn't happen that often. I don't know if we have the ability to do that, but I would think it's probably around 5%.
That's back. Very low.
Yeah, it could be a little. I don't see it because it just seems to come in. Like we'll just have a couple all of a sudden, like what's going on today, But I will say one thing that happens in the summertime when people are moving, we do tend to see more animals being surrendered or animals coming back. We do, part of the adoption contract is we require them to bring their animals back to us if they can no longer take care of them. So actually they're fulfilling their contract by doing that. So it's better than people dumping their animals somewhere else or leaving them in an unsuitable home. So
I'm sure there's probably people who have gotten rid of the animals and have not brought them back though.
Oh,
there's no way for y'all to.
It just could be. We just hope not, and that's why we do try to vet people as much as possible.
And how often do you think you get a purebred anything?
Boy, we got a Dalmatian about 6 months ago. That was the darndest thing. And what we do with when we do get a highly desirable animal like that, a purebred, we did have a golden retriever last year. We've had that. We had a Pomeranian just go out. It was an older dog. The Pomeranian was very old. She had cataracts. They actually named her Erin because she had red hair. It's pretty hilarious. They're like, hey, this Pomeranian just came in. She's got red hair and fleas, and we named her after you. I'm like, thanks. We have a lot of fun here. But she went out. We have, a lot of people have been here for years and years, and they know people. And so one of our animal services gals knew a couple that was, had a dog die and was would like to adopt an older animal. And so they came in and love at first sight, and they went skipping out the door with this little Pomeranian. Of course, she no longer had fleas, and she was all groomed and beautiful. But
Speaking of fleas, how do y'all manage fleas?
when the animals come in, there's a pill. I'm gone brain dead. What it's called? It's
I know my dog takes Nexgard.
Yeah, and that's yeah. I mean, we'd use that for the regular animals, but when they first come in, if they have fleas, there's a pill you can give them that kills the fleas instantaneously on them. So, and it's not to say the fleas don't get in; they do occasionally. I mean, with all these animals walking in and out, and we have vaccine clinics here every other month, and some of those animals walking in, they're gonna have fleas, and they're jumping off. We do feral cats every day. There's fleas jumping off them, and we try to kill them, but you know.
And how often do they get a bath?
When they need it. I mean, like our puppies but they, have to keep giving them baths, and just it depends on the animal.
Oh, okay.
They keep themselves. Cats, not at all. I mean, except we did have one. We had this beautiful Himalayan came in. He's super fat, but he's so pretty. And he was only like 3 years old, but his owner was an old gentleman who couldn't brush him, and he was going into assisted living. And his family said, we don't want the cat. And he was just covered in knots. So we took him. We have a partnership with a groomer, and who would do it for free. And took him there, and he ended up getting shaved down into what's called a lion cut. Have you ever heard of that with cats?
Yeah,
So
where they leave like a little
thing
piece on the bottom of the tail.
Just the ruff, and then just little boots on their legs. So cute. Oh my gosh, he was so cute. And he was adopted 3 days later. So, but he got a bath because he was a mess. He was a mess. So if an animal's a mess, like the Pomeranian was pretty much a mess, needed to get shaved down in parts because so matted. So because those animals, they're not going to be adopted if they're dirty and yucky, and so we get them all cleaned up and get them out the door. So.
And what made you want to work here?
I love animals, and I'm very passionate about the whole TNR, trap, neuter, release thing for cats, especially when I see dogs that aren't fixed. Of course, you can't tell with girls, but with male dogs, I get crazy. I just want to go educate those people that there's a lot of people who think that it's their dog's manhood, and I'm not going to take his manhood away. And in the South, it's very prevalent attitude. I'm actually from the North, and up there we have to license your animals, and if your dog's not neutered, you pay like 3 times as much to license your animal. And it's required to have rabies shots. It's a law down here to have current rabies shots, but there's no licensing, so there's no tracking. So people just don't. I shouldn't say all people, but a lot of people don't. They forget, and it's easy to forget. It's like it happens. Busy life, you forget your dog needs a rabies shot, and until it runs into a skunk, and then it's like, oh, oops, oh dear, and then you have to board your dog here for 10 days, and to make sure he doesn't have rabies, and then you got to pay for the boarding, and then you got to pay for the rabies shot, which is if you just paid for the $10 rabies shot in the first place.
It'd have been a lot cheaper.
So there's a lot of things that can be done. I also just finished an MBA in nonprofit management at Lenore Rhine, and I did my capstone project here.
Wow.
So I got very educated doing
That's impressive.
this here, and I'm mostly I'm on the board of directors of the Community Theater of the Hickory Choral Society and the United Arts Council, so I do lots with the arts community, and that's like my fun stuff, but my heart's here with animals.
That's sweet.
Yeah. That's even if anybody who works here, that's what we do it for.
That's amazing.
Yeah. We need to. Yeah, I think the key with our end goal. If you read our end goal, is that really that we shouldn't exist. I mean, if there were responsible pet owners, spay and neuter were done, there weren't unwanted animals, our goal would be to put us out of a job. It would be really nice if we were not necessary anymore, and we'd all be very happy. So.
Well, then you'd have to find something else to do.
Yeah, but unfortunately, that's just not ever going to happen.
Aside from being a vet, I don't think there's any other, I guess, job that jumps out at me where you get to see this many animals a day.
Oh, absolutely.
And interact.
Yeah. You'd have to work at a veterinarian's office, be a vet, or, and we probably see more animals a day than a regular veterinarian does.
Yeah.
So, and there's some great veterinarians in the area. Really are. Really good people. Very good people.
Is Insco still in business?
Yep. Mm-hmm. I just talked to him this morning, actually.
Oh, really?
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Oh, I know that y'all still require them to get an exam. Like whenever somebody adopts an animal.
When they adopt an animal, they get a certificate for a free exam.
I took my dog to Insco and put him on the table. I'm like, okay, I'm just here for an exam. He's just like, looks healthy. I'm like,
he's kind of an old school dude.
I'm like, okay, he's come on, Evan.
Yeah.
I followed the contract.
Yeah.
I'm going home now.
Yeah, he's a good guy, but he's kind of an old school guy.
Yeah, he has his little filing cabinet with a bunch of cards. It's just like, hold on, last name.
Yeah, it's funny. Yeah, I called.
No computer, just.
Yeah, I called today to get just to make sure somebody was up to date on rabies. He goes, oh yeah, she was just in this morning. She's good. Both the animals. Yep. Okay, thank you.
Nice.
And everybody else is like, oh no, please. Oh yes, they had to do this and blah, 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 blah. He gives all that stuff, but he's a good guy.
Oh yeah, he's been
Works
there
in the
for
right-
years.
Works in the right place, so it's all good.
Years. Okay.
I got one more little
Okay.
minor question.
Uh-huh.
Back when you said that, some owners or some soon-to-be owners walk in here and they just immediately connect, like they don't even see the whole shelter, they just see one and they're automatically hooked. How many times would you say that happens?
The problem with that is they'll, like, especially with cats, they'll look at a cat and go, that's a pretty cat, I love that cat, that's gonna be my cat. And well, that cat doesn't like them. I mean, or they're like, grab the cat, like, oh, a cat, and the cat's like, what the heck, leave me alone.
I'll argue that. That's what I did with my dog.
Yeah.
My dog was in the first kennel. I'm like, that one.
I would say it happens more often with dogs because of the whole, it's just like the dog. I always tell people, go look and see if a dog speaks to you, and it's crazy back in there. I mean, we'll walk through there and they'll all start barking and it doesn't smell very good because, well, they're dogs and it's a rainy day and I know the walkers are trying to get them out, but it's going to be what it is. Excuse me, I can't get rid of this stupid cough. But I'd say more often it probably does happen with dogs. And it also depends on the person, A lot of people come in here with a preconceived notion, I want a golden retriever, or I want a poodle, I want a Jack Russell. And some people come in here saying they want a pit bull. But the animals also have different personalities. So they'll be like, I saw this one online, the pictures are so great, we have professional photographers come and take our pictures. You really should go and look at our photos online of our dogs and cats. And they'll be like, oh, well, that one looks so cute. It's like, well, okay, well, that one is, food aggressive. It should not be around children, because we've, got their histories of some of them. And we check them against cats. Like, oh, I've got cats. Oh, my cat, dogs will love my cats. Like, no, this one will eat your cat. So, you just have to, and our animal services are really getting good to know the personality of the animals and match them up with people. So you don't get that mismatch.
Because some people don't understand that to have a